Right. Welcome back for our final match of the week here for week 3. We got Cody-Rayce playing his under his Pluto account here up against Spaghetti Mitch. Uh, we may have an agreed upon stip match between the two here, where they're both playing only even costed cards. I believe is what's going on here. What's Mitch
That's all
working
I'm
with?
seeing over here.
Yeah.
Mitch has four different colors of land in hand,
Uh-oh.
and only even draws.
Yes. So
So
they,
some
yeah.
twos and
So
fours.
they must have come to an agreement to play this for our entertainment and for their pain and suffering, I suppose. But yeah, we'll take it. Cody's always up to switch things up and do stuff for the benefit of the viewers, perhaps not the benefit of the players necessarily. But yeah, Cody's got what appears to be a functional hand of some kind. He's got a big fin bouncer that's castable. He's got a time stop, which we'll see if that comes
Ooh,
into play. He's got Wardens of
I
the
see.
Cycle, and he's got Two Unveil Treefolk, which is. So I wonder if an adventure card, if both sides have to be even, or if just the creature has to be even. I wonder what the
Ah,
rule is there. But here, in this case, both were, so it's fine.
yeah. So we've got a pretty functional hand as well. We've got Inga Runa is coming in
Ooh,
next.
scry 3. Yeah.
And we've got Covetous Urge, which is a card I enjoy quite a lot. And we
Ooh,
got
Covetous Urge.
Macabre
Yeah.
Waltz.
Okay.
So
Some neat ones here. Yeah. So
lots of graveyard recursion.
have you played with Time Stop yet?
I have not. No,
Okay. People have
I think
tried
I
to convince
drafted it, but
me that it's fine. I don't know.
it's a 6 mana counter spell, right?
It's
So
like it's
that's
a counter
good.
spell, or it's a fog, or it's a time walk.
So
Yeah,
flexible, so
yeah, but
modal.
it's 6 mana though.
Are there any tricks? I can't think of anything in the format, like any triggers for your creatures that you'd really desperately want to get out of.
Oh, your own creatures or your opponent's creatures?
Well, or either. I guess probably more of your opponents, but then it's like just an even worse counter spell.
Well, it could stop like a planeswalker activation.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I don't
Although
know. It's 6 mana though. It's yeah, I
yeah.
don't know.
No, I'm thinking more like, getting out of losing the game by firing off a
Oh
time stop. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
there's
I would
anything.
like those red cards that say like take an extra turn, you lose the game. That would, I believe, that would stop that. All right. Well, Inga
Right?
came back to Scry 3 again. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, we're leaving a burglar rat and a Cathar commando on top.
So what is it? If it dies at the same time as two other creatures, you draw 3 cards or something?
I think that's right. If there's three
Hmm.
creatures who die, then
Yeah, this turn.
we'll draw.
Yeah, but it can count itself, right? I mean,
Yeah.
well, the time stop is castable. I'm not sure it. I'm not sure what it does here.
Online. Let's see what he's got planned.
I mean, it's a counter spell that also just ends the opponent's turn. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, how much worse is a 6 mana counterspell than a 3 or 4 mana counterspell? I mean, probably significantly. But here it might not matter
Yeah,
that much.
I mean, it ends their turn also. Like it does quite a bit. Again, it's just like 6 mana is so much, and in certain cases, it's just going to be like a fog, like in the late game a lot of the time,
Yeah.
and that's quite bad. But I've heard people speak highly of it, so we'll see if it does
Really.
anything here.
I think we might get a covetous urge. He could steal the time stop.
Uh, yeah, sure.
Oh, I guess covetous urge can
Everything.
steal the adventure card, right? Or am I wrong about this?
No,
No.
it's from hand or graveyard only.
Ah,
The adventure
bummer.
card is on an adventure, so you can't. There are cards that there is like 1 or 2 cards that I know of that mess with a creature on an adventure specifically.
Yeah,
But
there was some.
oh, we
Oh,
got a run
we
ashore
did.
off the top. That's always a fun one.
Ooh, Time Stop is the card that we stole.
Yep. I mean, there was nothing else really to take, and it's a it's a cool, flashy card that now Mitch gets to use against Cody here.
Oh, are we getting the Inga trigger here? I think we are.
Well, he can run ashore here.
Oh yeah.
So this is
I guess he.
you can bounce an online permanent and or uh, put it on the top or bottom. Put another thing on the top or bottom.
Oh yeah, that does look good here. I guess in theory he could also just overkill Inga and leave the Cathar Commando alive.
I would have almost been down to like return my big fin bouncer to hand just to have it again
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that.
because you're winning the combat anyway.
Yeah.
And we get to draw a card here, so pretty good. Cody's uncharacteristically quiet on his interaction. Usually he opens up the little friend request and types all sorts of things, some of which are, you know, appropriate to repeat, others not. But he's
Maybe he's
silent right
only
now. He's focused, perhaps.
maybe he's only trash talking on even game numbers.
Hmm.
We're checking out the time stop, seeing what it does here. Mitch might be reading it for the first time.
But I mean, it has three words of rules text. How complicated could it be? It just says end the
Fair
turn.
enough.
Well, what's not clear about
There's
that? There's like a paragraph of
there's
reminder for the three words.
we've got the Macabre Waltz still. We've got a Draugr's Helm, which
Oh,
is kind
that's
of an
that's
odd costed
cheating.
card.
That's cheating. You only cost that for five. Get this man out of here. So he
Man,
just so
time
he just
stop.
did it on what? He just did it on opponent's upkeep. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like a draw one,
It was a
right?
time. It was a take an extra turn. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Your opponent's
Like a
upkeep. It's take an extra turn. That's it.
zero mana draw a card would have done the same thing, right?
it yeah, could be. But zero mana draw card is too good. So
Lots of recursion here. We're gonna bring back the
yeah.
Sunblessed Healer.
Yeah, the mana seems to be mostly working out here for Mitch.
Mitch threw the pick. I would have been tempted to throw the commando knowing I could get it back, but I guess you'll get the burglar wrap back.
Yeah, Mitchell's got all the
Could be
card
better.
advantage now, so Cody needs to get something going here. He does have the bigger creatures for the time being. Yeah, he's going to
Oh
attack.
yes, with triple.
Yeah, so at the very least, but this does need another trigger for Cody here. This warns of the cycle. Like it either takes over the game or has no text. I find like
Yeah.
like it either draws a card like every turn or just sits there. Well, like when I play it, it just sits there. When my opponent plays it, it draws a card every turn.
Well, that seems to be Morbid. Like Morbid is such a hit or miss mechanic on the whole.
Yeah,
We've got on
it's
top here.
it's such
We've
a
got a,
simple idea, but it's like actually plays out a lot worse than you would think. Because like you read it and like you instantly understand like Morbid. It's like okay, creature died, you get to do the thing. But it's like creatures
yeah,
don't die every turn, and especially if
no.
you have a card that on the battlefield that triggers it at your end step, your opponent can work around it. So what happened with the
So
scry here?
we left on top a Dread Rider,
Oh, that's six mana
I
three
believe is the
seven.
card. Yes.
I believe you can make your
Uh,
opponent lose three life by tapping it, tapping two mana and exiling something from graveyard. They lose two life, they lose three
correct.
life, something like this. Uh,
I suppose mana sinks go up in value quite a lot in this format. Here we go. We're back in the situation of Inga triggering, potentially.
I mean, Cody's just got lands. I don't know if he knows exactly what's going to happen. I mean, he could stack the damage I, so that
Yeah.
Inga doesn't die, I suppose.
Which is certainly
Oh, he
the
could stack
correct
all the damage on Inga with
on Inga.
this
Yeah.
with the way the new rules work.
Yeah, or alternatively, Uh, that's what he's done. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, I don't want my opponent to draw three cards. Let's get this creature off the battlefield. All right, and this is basically becoming like a personal howling man over here. All right, so this is going to stop the majority of the attacks. He's got Glimpse the Cosmos.
Oh.
Um,
And he's got a giant, right? Is the tree folk a giant? No.
I
Isn't it?
think it's just a tree folk.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so what is it? You could pay blue and flash it back if you have a giant or a wizard. There's just a giant.
Yeah, if you have a giant only, you
Okay.
can pay a single blue to cast it again.
All right, he's
So
drawing
on
another
top of Mitch's deck,
Wardens of the Cycle here, which has proved to be pretty nice.
oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we now have the Dread Rider back on top of deck, but beneath that is a Fae of Wishes, which we also scribed to the top.
Oh, that is that I. So I played Mitch yesterday. Apparently,
Yeah.
he told me it was only the second time we ever played in AGO, which is mind blowing because we've both been here since the start of it. Um, I defeated him, and he got a Fae of Wishes in his pack and a Fae of Wishes in his Prince selection. So two way of fishes here in his deck, as I like to say.
A
And
wish mechanic would be really interesting. Wow. Well, we don't get it here because this is going to be game.
yeah, this is going to be more or less the end.
I suppose if he left a board wipe in his sideboard.
Yeah, the Fae of Wishes. I had this back in like the first Chaos League we did, so it must have been 2021, and that was one of my favorite things I've ever been able to do in League. Was just have Fae of Wishes, especially as the weeks go on. Like we were basically just opening random packs. Like we just got a random pack on Arena every loss. So I was just playing a bunch of off color dual lands, and I could just go get anything. I just got all these weird cards that I went to go get.
I mean, if you could totally distort your deck, I think, with two copies of Fae of Wishes,
Yeah,
you
I mean
could
how?
leave some
Yeah,
really powerful cards.
yeah. Like I was playing blue red, but I had like a bunch of random dual lands. Like so, it's like my opponent cast Crystalline Giant. I was like, okay, I'll go get Smelt. One red mana,
Yeah.
destroy target artifact. Like cool. My
Yeah,
opponent made
that's, I
my
mean, that's,
opponent made some 1/1 Thopters. I went to go get this card's Sagittar's Volley. It's like two and a green, destroy a flyer, deal one damage to each other flyer the opponent controls.
yeah. The possibilities, especially as you say, if you can flex your mana base a bit, you can really side into stuff at instant speed. Like, I think that's really interesting as a deck building
Yeah,
possibility.
like I even got a double green card one time with it, even though I was playing blue red, just because I had a bunch of random tap lands that made two colors. Yeah, no, it's kind of like an exciting card because it opens up so many possibilities. So very very cool. Um, yeah, not too much to talk about at the end of that game here. They're just chatting right now. I'm not sure how much sideboarding they're going to do here.
I'm not sure
Mitch,
Mitch even had a sideboard. I didn't see anything. I must have missed it there while I was enthusiastically talking about it. He must have one if he's going to play Fae of Wishes. Surely there's a sideboard, a wish board.
apparently, I guess you could see it too. Cody is
Uh,
slightly distraught that he doesn't get all of his Gnarlid colonies. I mean, if he insisted and Mitch agreed they could restart the match, I don't know if it's worth doing that over a single copy of Gnarlid colony that he doesn't have access to. But I mean,
Did it all even tip? Who knows?
it's
Maybe it's
within
worth it.
his. It would be within his right to ask Mitch, and it would be within Mitch's right to either grant or deny. But I think he just said, "Oh well," and he moved on.
Got another decent hand over here. Uh,
Okay,
Hungry Ghoul, which is one of my favorite cards from Foundation. I really like
you like it
Deep
so
Sack
much,
Outlet.
it represents you as your profile picture.
It did for quite a while anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, but we didn't play it, so I guess the intention is we're going to flash in our Cathar Commando.
yeah, it could be. So in hand here for Cody, we have Raven Wings. We have Runaway Together. We have Glimpse the Cosmos. We have Island. We have an Evolving Wilds and a Rankle, Master of Pranks.
Ooh, this is a spicy card.
That's a fun one here. That one,
Now we've drawn a campus guide.
okay. Campus Guide is the great forgiver here of whatever mana bases these players have assembled. I don't know, is Mitch like full? Like he must have like he can't be playing four colors evenly, right?
No, I think Esper largely,
Okay.
but pretty evenly within Esper, and then something green.
Yeah, so Cody's on a Sultai deck here, pretty much fairly close to split amongst all the colors. Glimpse the Cosmos. I mean, there's a time stop here. He's got to take the time stop, right? Yeah. I mean, he could have taken the Uncharted Voyage, but he is an entertainer. He wants to entertain us, so he took the time stop,
He
which
got
was
hit
used
by his own
against
time
him.
stop last game,
I
and
mean,
somehow that
it
wasn't
didn't help because the card doesn't help you if you're about to lose a game. This card does not win you the game. It just means that you're going to die like one turn later or two turns later. it does. It doesn't.
powerful
It
stuff.
like cards that stop you from losing the game. I mean, have a use because you don't lose, but they don't help you win. I mean, how good's the card? Like if you're
Yes, well,
already winning the game, you probably don't need the time stop to accelerate your victory. Right, so interesting choice here. Whether he wants to, I mean, I'm not sure what the choice is exactly. He's most likely going to play his Evolving Wilds. He's going to get a swamp so he can play Rankle, but Rankle doesn't really have it. Rankle will have an attack for probably one turn.
right.
So he has the Raven Wings, which I believe gives +1/+0 and flying,
Yeah.
and it's 2 to equip. I think. I believe it makes the creature a bird as well, which
Critical, yes.
sure. Yeah, 2 to play,
Uh,
2 to equip, +1/+0 flying, and it's a bird.
I suppose time stop lets you counter uncounterable things, like we saw Coma running wild earlier.
Yep,
Could hit that with a time stop.
sure can. I mean, if you can time your
Fair
time
enough.
stop to do that, I mean, you have made possibly the best use out of it that I could imagine within the cards that are in Foundations. Yeah, so Cody, falling a bit behind here on board, especially if Mitch has a nice play to follow up this
We've
combat.
got it. We've got yet another Inga.
I mean,
We've
that's a good
seen
one.
quite a lot of Inga. Oh wow, the top of the deck is stacked. We've got Zimone, which must be what the green splash was for.
Would make sense.
He's moving Zimone to the top, so I suppose the intention would be to play out the campus guide, although then he'll lose. He's got a pilfer. Oh, interesting.
Zimone is many turns away from being cast, regardless.
Oh, there we go. I guess we're not going to lose anything because of the Inga sack.
Oh,
That's pretty heads up play by Mitch. So yeah, still no green mana, but the campus guide will get it. We've got a glass casket, a think twice, and a pilfer.
okay. All right, Rankle time. Yeah, this was a card that like I never knew what was right. Like I was like, do I care about drawing? Do I want to make this guy
Mm.
like it's a very very interesting card.
I really like these cards that are symmetrical and sometimes just bad. Like the Silver Quill Dragon also had that sort of thing happening where you had to give one thing to yourself and one to your opponent.
Yeah, I'm
That
not
sort of
like
symmetry.
yeah, I don't. I was like it's a cool card. Like I read it and it's very evocative and interesting. I think it plays out a little worse than it looks like it does. I mean, it's still a cool card. Like I still run it, I still play it. I just it's not busted. Oh,
This is
Pilfer.
twice that Mitch has looked in hand and seen nothing but a time stop, more or less.
Well, this time he's letting him have the time stop. You know what? It's all yours.
Is that a faceless haven I see up in the top there? Or am I just reading that upside down?
Which card is that? Where? Oh yeah, it is a faceless
In
haven.
Cody's hand, you got a faceless haven. And I guess he's got the snowman
That costs what? It
to
costs three
activate.
snow mana to
Yeah,
activate it.
that's right. Also, it'll be a giant for Glimpse the Cosmos.
Oh, Glimpse of Cosmos, is that in his graveyard right now? I guess it is.
I think he had it earlier, right? I think it must be.
Yeah, Yeah, he took it off. Yeah, he cast it. I mean, that's how he got the time stop in his hand. So I don't know if he's gonna clock or if he's gonna have time to turn his faceless haven into a creature and cast Glimpse of Cosmos, but it's possible. Glimpse of Cosmos would have been quite good in your deck, I think, that we saw earlier tonight.
I have it, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, you seem to have
And it
taken.
has
You seem to
been
be one of
quite
the
good.
few people that I've seen that has really actually taken advantage of getting a couple call time packs.
Yeah, my deck is hit or miss, but it is fun. The
It's very
giant
different.
tribal is
Yeah,
a fun
very
one.
very different from anything I've seen yet. Um, yeah, it was fun to watch. Right. So Cody says, I want to swing with Rankle. I want to get in, get this Angel of Finality out of here.
It's interesting that he's spending all these removals not on Zimone, but you gonna force a discard here? I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I never know what to do with this card. The only time I would know for sure to what to do with this card is if my opponent was at one life. That'd be the only time where I'd be 100% certain of what needed to be done.
We should see Zimone come down now, and that's just gonna close out this game, unless Cody's got some removal, right?
Yeah, Zimone is absolutely insanely strong. I'm like,
Oh, just
it does what? Like the first time I read it, I was like, is this real? Like we've seen how
thinking of
good those like white cards are, or even there was a green one in OTJ that just says like at the beginning of combat, put a counter on a creature. Like just that on a creature is extremely good.
yeah, I thought we were gonna see it there, but playing a bit more conservatively, I guess.
But to put two counters and to grow the counters, like okay.
Yeah, that's wild. So we've got a Raven Wings as well. This could be a Raven Wings standoff here. Uh, but I think we're holding on to think twice to flashback instead.
Yeah, we got a flashback of our own here, or I think twice of our own. All right, so we got Golden Pick, one of the four Gnarlid colonies, and the Bite Down. I do have to take a moment to mourn the loss of the Gnarlid colony flavor text, which was one of my favorites that they did not put on the card. The where mana flows, Gnarlids follow. So
Huh.
at the pre-release, I had a paper copy of the Gnarlid colony, and I noticed that instead of the flavor text, they had the reminder text for trample on the paper card, which I assume took up the space that the flavor text would have had. Now in Arena, there just isn't flavor text as well. So what a needless loss.
Yeah. Tragic.
Right, so he's gonna make his Faceless Haven here.
This is lethal, right? I think.
If he can't stop him, it definitely is. Because he can do 7 and then do an extra 1 little damage with the Rankle trigger,
Yeah,
which I just mentioned
I
before is
think
the only time I absolutely am certain of what to do. Yeah, so Mitch
I didn't
looked like
remember.
this game was going well, but maybe he forgot about the Faceless Haven there. I'm guessing Mitch doesn't have anything to respond to this with.
Oh,
Well, thinking
he's just
twice ain't
drawing.
gonna help. So as long as
Wow.
Cody clocks his trigger here, he kind of grabbed this game a little bit unexpectedly, I would say, based on how it was running. But
Yeah, that was out of
Ranko got
nowhere.
there. He was aggressive with Ranko. He made his opponent lose a life every time. And Cody wins the all even mana cost stip battle here to close out our week 3 feature matches. So thanks for watching and see everybody next week.